minorities live. And so naturally, they're going to benefit even if it does mean higher taxes.
So, Doctor, those young people who might be watching this show this morning, who might be in high school now, 11th or 12th grade, and who might be thinking in terms of perhaps becoming involved in higher education, but somehow they don't have the financial resources, nor do they believe that they can get a scholarship, and et cetera. What would you say to them at this particular moment in terms of trying to improve their chances of perhaps being accepted in one of the institutions and perhaps being able to receive a degree and help us deal with the problems that we're talking about this morning?
I would advise young people to talk to their counselors, but I would also advise parents to talk to their counselors. One of the problems of getting more students into the colleges, the community colleges, the technical schools in the state is a lack, I think, of a perennial advisement, that parents do not get involved early enough in the post-secondary education of their children. The governor's plan and plans that are going on right now will include some changes in the technical schools, the technical institutes in the state. It would include some upgrading of some community colleges or technical schools like Nashville State Tech, for example. It will include articulation agreements to make it much easier for community college students to transfer into four-year programs at the state colleges.
Why don't you amplify upon that, Doctor, because I don't think many people understand exactly what that means, especially in terms of dealing with the technical schools or community colleges, right, et cetera.
Well, one of the trends in the country right now is that the majority of college students are going into the community colleges. These are the most accessible post-secondary schools for students because they are right near the community. They don't have to come all the way to Nashville or whatever. There's Shelby State, you know, over in Memphis, there's Rome State. You know, there are many community colleges, and in the north, there are even more technical and community colleges. They are very popular in those particular industrial states. But the problem is community colleges can tend to be a dead end for students, and they'll end up with a two-year degree and an associate degree and never go on to get a bachelor's or the master's or the PhD degree. What helps your economy is the more college graduates you have, the four-year bachelor's degree holders. In the state of Tennessee, for example, more minorities are now going into the community colleges than the four-year institutions. But those community colleges are only graduating about 77% of those minorities with associate degrees, that is parallel degrees. And they're only graduating about 27 or 28% of the white students that are going. So they're coming out in a revolving door without a degree at all and not going on to the four-year institutions. So we have come up with what are called articulation agreements, like at Tennessee State University. We have concluded these agreements with Columbia State, Martineau State, and Volunteer State. These are annual agreements where we have placed on paper saying to a student, if you complete these 2 years, for example, at Volunteer State, and receive the associate degree, you can come directly to Tennessee State University, complete 2 more years, and get another degree, your bachelor's degree.
That's an automatic transfer?
That's an automatic transfer, which we call a 2+2 program under the articulation agreements. These are being completed all over the state. In other words, every four-year institution or university or college has been mandated by the state to get with the community colleges in your area and conclude these agreements. So that should say to a student when he comes to the community college, not only can you stay at Columbia State and get a 2-year degree, but as soon as you finish that degree, you're ready to go right to MTSU or TSU and get your bachelor's degree in 4-year period. The problem is we are graduating less than 40%, around 40, 41% of the students who go to Tennessee colleges actually get out with a degree. So as a result, the economy of the state is suffering because you're not producing enough bachelor's degree holders according to what you're putting into the system. You know, you got more students who are dropping out of the system that are coming out of the system with a bachelor's degree. And that is what the state wants to turn around. If you can turn it around where you have 50 to 55 or 60% of those who go to college actually come out with a degree, then you're going to see the economy of the state of Tennessee boom, and you're going to see its culture expand.
What about tuition, Doctor? Do you find in your situation that that might be prohibitive in terms of some students being able to take advantage of education? Well, again, this goes back to financial resources and scholarships and et cetera. And what would be some of the suggestions that you would have in reference to how we might be able to improve the ability of our outreach?
Well, I think that the tuition and fees are not a problem because they're relatively cheap in the state of Tennessee, especially at community colleges and our public institutions. Education is fairly accessible to most Tennesseans, including our black students. There are you know, state programs, grants and loans and so on for students as well. And so the money is there for most students who want to go. The problem, again, is colleges and universities and community colleges finding a way to improve their retention of those students. They come to the community colleges and the four-year institutions in great numbers, but those institutions are not retaining those students over a 4 or 5 year period and getting them to get that degree. Now, you've got to change some attitude.